What's up, guys? IAmAMusicNerd here, and we are here to bring the motherfucking ruckus. That's right. We talking about Beginner's Guide to Wu-Tang Clan, one of the most infamous, popular, influential hip-hop groups of all time from Staten Island, or as they refer to, Shaolin Island. So I'm here to recommend for anybody who has never heard a Wu-Tang Clan song or has always heard them from a distance but doesn't know where to start in the discography. All Wu-Tang Clan works, group and solo. 5 amazing albums for you guys to get into, to start this journey into one of the most unique acts in music history. Before I get into it, if you enjoyed the content in this video, hit that like button, hit the subscribe button down below. If you're a return subscriber, hit the notification bell to be alerted for new content. Well, there's no better place than to start from the beginning. Wu-Tang Clan's first album, the first ever Wu-Tang Clan project, Enter the 36 Chambers, came out in 1983, the same exact day as A Tribe Called Quest. Let me try again. A Tribe Called Quest, Midnight Marauders. Also came out the same day as R. Kelly's 12 Play. But the less we say about that, the better. Wu-Tang Clan comprised of 9 members, and I mean, you guys know that there are so many members of Wu-Tang Clan. Method Man, Ghostface Killer, Raekwon, RZA, U-God, Jizza. I mean, so on, so on. What I love about this group, and specifically this album, is that yes, there are 9 members of this group, 9 different personalities, 9 different rapping styles, and the group dynamic, it could have been a clusterfuck with all these people in this, but RZA found a way to get the best out of these guys, and the chemistry here in this album is amazing. I mean, you cannot understate the fact that nothing in hip hop sounded like this. I mean, sampling martial arts films, skits that referred to people gouging their eyeballs. I mean, it was just like insane. And yeah, I was probably only several months old at the time, and I didn't get into Wu-Tang Clan until much, much older. But you can imagine when this album dropped, people were like, what is this? I mean, but when you listen to this album, you can see the immense influence that it had on not only East Coast hip hop. You know, this was kind of like, it came out at a time when West Coast was dominating hip hop. Dr. Dre, Snoop Dogg, all that stuff. And Wu-Tang Clan was really the first group to kind of carry that flag back to the East. Because of this, we had the popularity of Biggie Smalls, Nas, Ma Deep, so on and so on. And man, the songs on this album: Protect Your Neck, Mystery of Chess Boxing, Bring the Ruckus, as I mentioned earlier, Wu-Tang Clan Down the Fuck With, Method Man, Cream. I mean, there's just so many great songs here. I don't think there's a bad song at all. And yes, part of the appeal of this album is its production. Very grimy. I mean, the traits that RZA would use for a lot of his production and a lot of other Wu-Tang Clan albums. But this album, having that grimy, almost like it was stepped on in an alley, very piano, haunting piano-based music, that atmospheric, just makes you want to take a cold shower after listening to this. It really captured people's imagination. I can go on and on about this album, as you can tell. One of the greatest hip-hop albums of all time. If you have not checked this out, please do yourself a favor and check out this amazing album. Next I'm going to be talking about is one of the Wu-Tang solo albums that I feel also captured the atmosphere of Wu-Tang, and that is Raekwon's Only Built for Cuban Linx. This came out in the summer of 1995, and 95 was such a great year for hip-hop. And there was even competition between the Wu-Tang Clan members. By this point, all the Wu-Tang Clan members had signed a deal to drop a solo album in between, group projects. So Method Man came out fall '94 with Tikal. Old Dirty Bastard came out earlier the year with his solo album. Both of them were huge successes, and so they decided to keep the winning streak going. And Only Built for Cuban Linx is an album that I think about once a week. I mean, it is just jaw dropping of how incredible this album is. The production. I mean, you want to talk about sounding like a Scorsese movie. I mean, this album sounds like a fucking Scorsese mob movie. RZA, I think, does his best production that he's ever done on this album. And Raekwon just coming here with his sharp lyrical wordplay featuring Ghostface Killah. I mean, if this was a Goodfellas, I mean, Raekwon would be De Niro and Ghostface Killah would be Joe Pesci. I mean, those two have such almost like a brotherly chemistry to each other. I mean, they work so well off of each other. But yes, the production is a star here. Lots of like orchestral sounds, stuff that we ain't even heard in Wu-Tang Clan album before, but we're hearing orchestral songs. I mean, listen to this closer, Heaven and Hell. I mean, it gives you goosebumps of how beautiful it sounds, you know? But yeah, Raekwon using that kind of mob mentality basically inadvertently created a new genre in hip-hop, mafioso rap, that took off for a while. Nas did it with It Was Written, Jay-Z did with Reasonable Doubt, even Biggie Smalls did with Life After Death. And it all started with this album, references to living the good life. Cristal was kind of put into the pop cultural thing for a while. This is the first time people were talking about Cristal, like Wu-Tang Clan members having mob nicknames. I mean, it's such an imaginative, creative album, and Raekwon just hits on the mark. He was made for this. And everybody knows the story with the purple tape. I can gush about this album too. Just so many great songs here. Criminology, Incarcerated Scarface, like I said, Heaven and Hell. Yeah, check out this album. Next song I'm going to be talking about, GZA's Liquid Swords. Now, this has kind of been competing with Only Built for Cuban Linx with, what is the best solo Wu-Tang Clan album. And there's some days where I kind of fight between myself where it's like, maybe it's Only Built for Cuban Linx. Nah, it's with Liquid Swords. Liquid Swords, Cuban Linx. And it's hard because Liquid Swords is up there, man. It's a masterpiece on its own, and it sounds completely different from Only Built for Cuban Linx. RZA, 1995, I would put that against anybody's in terms of just creating these masterworks in a year. It's amazing. But anyways, Liquid Swords, I think, had a great influence on underground hip hop. Even Company Flow just a few years later, with LP's work. Even JPEG Mafia. I mean, Liquid Swords to me was really the first massive like backpack album in my opinion, because GZA being affiliated with Wu-Tang Clan was gonna sell records, but its aesthetic, its sound, its production leans more into underground backpack hip hop. Even MF Doom. I mean, yeah, there's no MF Doom without this album. So GZA to me, I think, is the best lyricist in Wu-Tang Clan. The way that he just kind of spins these philosophical lyrics about chess and relating to life. The song Basic Instructions for Leaving Earth, Bible, Bible, talking about spiritualism, being spiritual, and just getting your mind right before you pass away. It's a very deep song. And then you have songs, featuring, of course, Ghostface Killah. What is it, Fourth Chamber? That song and that production with the alarm, that kind of like they built the beat like around this alarm. I'm telling you, RZA, he was just unconscious during this year. I don't know how you do the things that you do, how a human can do these things, but he built the beat around a fucking alarm. I don't know. It blows my mind. The title track, Liquid Swords. GZA never really quite, and that's a story with a lot of these Wu-Tang Clan members, is that they never quite reached the heights that they did with their first album. Maybe because RZA was more heavily involved in that first album. But whatever, man. Like, Liquid Swords stands on its own as a masterpiece. And the album cover is sick as hell. I love this album cover. So yes, check this out. If you have not, check out this album. It's a beautiful, just amazing work of hip-hop lyricism at its finest. Next album I'm going to be talking about is Old Dirty Bastard's first album, Return to the 36 Chambers. Now, this established Old Dirty Bastard as a cultural force in hip-hop. You know, he dropped this album, and then he went out to feature on the Mariah Carey Fantasy song, which was huge song. And Old Dirty Bastard, God rest his soul, was probably the most unique rapper maybe ever. Not just in Wu-Tang Clan. I don't know anybody who is like Old Dirty Bastard. Maybe you could kind of say Danny Brown, but Danny Brown kind of plays it straight when it comes to like being a rapper. Old Dirty Bastard sung show tunes. He sung Beatles. The guy was insane. Like I said, he was definitely one of a kind guy, and he was the heart and soul of Wu-Tang Clan by a mile. You know, he was the guy who sung on the hooks. He was the guy who just like, I don't know, rambled on skits, and somehow it was funny, but it was also deep. Yeah, you cannot put this guy into a box. And so when news was that he was going to put out a solo album, it's like, well, how is this going to work? Like, how is RZA going to capture this guy's spirit? And he did. He did with this legendary album, Return to 36 Chambers. And I will say, when I first heard this album, it was just hard to get through because it was just like, what the hell is this? Like, this is so unlike anything I've ever heard in hip-hop before. And now you listen to it and you respect it for being so unique. You respect it for being so idiosyncratic. You know, songs like Shimmy Shimmy Ya, only Old Dirty Bastard can make that work. You know, a song like Brooklyn Zoo, where you know, Old Dirty Bastard does not hesitate to remind you that he's that street nigga. Like he can fuck you up. And then you got a song like Rawhide, where it's kind of like a country thing, you know, and Method Man's like singing Rawhide, like I don't know. It's such a weird album. I cannot understate this enough. Without this album, obviously, like I said, you would not have Danny Brown. You would not have JPEG Mafia. You would Run the Jewels. I mean, this is such influential album. Even the second album, Nigga Please, is even weirder. So yeah, this was Grammy nominated. Old Dirty Bastard. I know people look at him, they think of the whole welfare stamps thing, and I mean, look at, I mean, he had an influence on Tyler the Creator. I mean, yeah, oh my God. I mean, Odd Future, I mean, obviously had a huge influence. I mean, look at the album cover of Call Me If You Get Lost. It's literally based on this album cover. So, I know Old Dirty Bastard, people look at him. He died tragically. They look at him as kind of like a joke. He's like the jokester of Wu-Tang Clan, but he really was a genius in his own way. So, you want to check out that genius at work, check out this album. And last but not least, probably my favorite Wu-Tang Clan group or solo project, Ghostface Killah's Supreme Clientele, which came out in 2000. And like I said earlier, a lot of Wu-Tang Clan members could never really build off the success of their first albums, like Raekwon, GZA, fortunately, yes, even Method Man, even though Method Man became a star in other fields. But Ghostface Killah is really, for a while, the only guy who had a consistent solo discography. You know, we're talking about Iron Man was his first album, and Supreme Clientele being his second album. Albums like Fish Scale, which also became a classic album in its own right. And later the work he would do in the 2010s. Ghostface Killah had a very consistent discography, and Supreme Clientele took what Iron Man. Iron Man is a decent album. It's a solid album, but Supreme Clientele is better in every single way. And maybe it's because RZA was involved in production, more than other solo second projects of other members. That could be true. But Ghostface Killah, like I said, is probably the best rapper, one of the best rappers of all time, fan favorite for sure. And Supreme Clientele, to me, back to front, it's incredible to listen to. I think Ghostface Killer really, Iron Man, like I said, only touched the surface of what Ghostface Killer can do on the mic, and it was a little bit more of an R&B influence album, not gonna lie, but Supreme Clientele is like street to the bone. It's like Ghostface Killer delivering his best verses, songs like Malcolm, songs like One, Saturday Night, was it Churches Full of Ghosts, I think it was called. Even though that song had like a great hook, but kind of like a Broadway-esque, you know, song, but Ghostface Killer, that beat is crazy. So I think Supreme Clientele is an album. It's been on 20 years strong. It's an amazing album. Definitely check that one out. To see, I think Ghostface Killer this is his magnum opus. So yeah, that's my beginner's guide. 5 great Wu-Tang albums that I'd recommend to anybody who has never heard of Wu-Tang Clan project. Listen, if you heard of Wu-Tang Clan through media and of course their TV shows, it's very popular on Hulu, and you have not checked out any of their works, you're missing out. These are solid projects, and yeah, I would say this to anybody. This is why Wu-Tang Clan lives on in great memory. These projects are fucking incredible, and I go back to these all the time. Tell me what you think in the comment section. What are your favorite Wu-Tang Clan projects? Are there some that I didn't mention here that you love and would recommend to somebody? YouTube recommends these 2 reviews to check out after this one. I will be dropping more videos future. Sorry guys, I've been very busy trying to stick to maybe a twice a week schedule, but it's just hard. It's a busy life right now, but more great content is coming on the way, I promise. And keep showing the love and support. I see it. Don't think I don't see it in the comment section. I always appreciate you guys for watching my videos. We're almost to 1,000 subscribers, so let's keep it going and spread the word. For people that are curious in a new music channel, spread the word to family and friends, anything to keep this growing. So yeah, love you guys. Until next time, peace.